Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Super Gamekast. Sorry for the rough start there. We kind of had to get everything sorted and worked out. Um, so guys, how's it been? How's your week been?
It's been.
Eh,
It's been.
it's
It's
been.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Even though yeah, between jury duty and all the other stuff, yeah, like just it
Hmm.
definitely been.
Yep. I've got like
So
20 hours in Liza P though, so I've got that going for me.
How
I de-
much?
I hit 20.
I downloaded it but didn't start it, so that's cool.
Yikes. That's a
Uh,
lot.
yeah, you may think it's a lot.
It's
But it's
not.
nothing
It's
compared to
not.
the games that we play. That's fair.
It, it, it's yeah, like well, I mean, 20 hours in general is a lot, but like considering that like this year, like so many games have released that are like 40, 50, 60
Hmm. Hmm.
hours.
Yeah, that's
You
fair.
know, my Final Fantasy 16 clear was like 40 hours. My or no, 50 hours. My Breath of the Wild. My Tears of the Kingdom. I'm currently at like 60 hours and still need one more
Oh,
dungeon to go.
shit.
Diablo was like 50.
Yeah.
Uh, it's actually why like Aaron and I were talking. Why don't it's nice? A nice 15, 20 hour game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe even
Hmm.
a 10.
Yeah, it'd be
know,
good. It'd be good.
I'm tired of every game I play being like a commitment.
Yeah.
Uh,
We have this grand 80-hour adventure. I don't want it.
No, I just want a nice, easy 10, 15-hour game, and then it'll be good.
Put that thing into
right.
Okay?
quarters.
Yeah. Like, man. Ugh. Which sucks because Spider-Man's only gonna be 20 hours, and so is Alan Wake. But then, like, you like a dragon, the man who erased his name.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gotta be 80
yeah.
to 100, right? Like,
Yeah,
That's
that's gonna be a
100.
lot. That's gonna be a ton. That's gonna be like so much.
yes.
Oh,
So yeah,
strap in, boys.
yeah. So hey, a bunch of Xbox news happened.
Yeah. Yeah,
A
it
lot.
did.
A lot of
Yeah.
Xbox news happened.
Like, hey guys, I hate to break it to you, but we've been lying this whole time. This is just an Xbox podcast in
Hmm.
disguise.
Hmm.
uh, it's three
Yeah,
Xbox
sorry, guys.
podcasts in a trench coat.
That's right.
Um, yeah.
Oh God. Oh God.
So on the back end, we have like this docket that was just like that we keep track of to like what we're gonna run through the week, and literally it ended up just being like a giant list from an IGN article of all the FTC and court documents,
Hmm.
then two other stories addressing the leaks and the buyout
Yeah.
for Activision Blizzard. Not because we didn't want to do other stuff, just because we know most of that's going to eat up the whole fucking everything.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
because it's one news story with like 8 inside it. So we might as well get to it. Um, so the first one is, hey, shocking nobody, The Elder Scrolls 6 is an Xbox console exclusive.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. No,
So,
thank you.
Phil Spencer said a PlayStation version of The Elder Scrolls 6 was still up in the air during the trial. The new document recently spotted by Axios reporter Steven Tadillo reveals that The Elder Scrolls 6 is not only skipping PlayStation platforms, but it could release as early as 2026.
Oh.
Didn't they just say they were starting development on that game?
Sure did.
Like now that Starfield is out, they can start development on Elder Scrolls 6.
Okay, but think of it this way: like Oblivion came out in 2006, and then Fallout 3 came out in 2008.
Yeah, but like look at how much time they put into Starfield and look at how that turned out.
Yeah, so it's look, they're just gonna ride the coattails of modders like they always do, and everybody's gonna circle jerk the game because of the amount of freedom in it, no matter how buggy or like mid it is. You know, like it'll probably be good 2, 3 years after it comes out. So like 2029. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that that's like the slowly becoming the norm for for games, not just from Bethesda, but for a lot of games.
Yeah. That's look. This was a big
It
part.
sucks.
Look, I have been campaigning against that shit for years.
Hmm
I like
hmm
years ago when we were like at E3 and we were doing all the press coverage stuff, and I was like, you know, like seeing stuff behind the scenes and like getting the logic for all that shit, and it was just like, yep, well, okay, shit's gonna be broken forever. That's cool.
hmm
So this doesn't surprise me at all, though. Like,
No, I mean,
no,
like, I don't know why people thought, like, outside of them being like, it's going to come out on PS5, I don't know why you would think that it would go on anything other than PC and Xbox.
pretty much, yeah. Um, so I guess if you really want to play Elder Scrolls 6, buy a PC or buy an Xbox.
hmm hmm
Yeah.
That
The
new Razer
unfortunate
Blade.
truth.
That new Razer Blade.
Oh my god, don't buy a Razer Blade. Dear fucking lord.
It's got a 4000 series card now.
It does, but it also, like, I believe the cheapest one is like 2 grand.
Yeah, yeah,
Look, I love the
yeah.
Razer
Don't
Blade. I
don't
think
buy
it's an
that.
amazing laptop, but like, dude, those things have always been so absurdly overpriced.
hmm hmm
Like, especially for the spec sheet. Like, what's the cheapest one? Yeah, the cheapest one is $1,900 for a 680M and a actually a pretty good processor. But then like if you go on like Best Buy's website, I bet you can find similar spec. Like, okay, what do you have to do to get a 4060 in it? Let's try to see that. Like a 4060 unit. Oh wow, the 14 inch doesn't even have that.
No.
So hey, so the 14 inch only has Radeon. Bummer. All right, fine. The 15 inch, 2 grand, 2 G's. Okay,
Yeah,
it comes
I
with a
wouldn't. I
30.
wouldn't buy a Razer Blade.
Yeah, 2 grand for a fucking laptop that has a 3060 in it.
There are much better uses of your money.
Well, especially if you're in the market for like a gaming laptop.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like just it's a great laptop, but it's very much a I have plenty of excess money to burn laptop.
hmm hmm
Um, I got like almost identical specs to this, or the 2022 equivalent for $1,300 at Best Buy. 14 inch, thin and light, look great. Honestly, the secret for gaming laptops is like wait for clearance to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the like wait for like the new one to come out. That's like a slight upgrade, and then just uh go full ham on looking for clearance deals at like Best Buy and Amazon and PC outlets, shit, shit like that. Yeah, you can get this $1,500 Alienware at Best Buy right now that has a 4070 in it. So yeah, don't buy a Razer Blade. It's a terrible idea.
Yep.
Why did you bring up the Razer Blade? I just realized this.
Oh, it's something that could run Elder Scrolls 6 when it comes out.
I
You need
guess.
to buy a PC, but don't make it a Razer Blade.
Yeah, but why did you specifically target the Razer Blade?
Oh, I got it. I got an email this morning saying that the new Razer Blades were out.
God, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
that makes sense.
'Cause what the fuck?
Yeah.
Activision was briefed on the Switch successor last year. Um, so given alignment to Gen 8 platforms in terms of performance, um, so the next gen Switch would be in like PS4, Xbox One performance territory.
Mm-hmm.
It would also support DLSS and ray tracing. which the idea of that is fucking hilarious. And that's
Yeah,
gonna have an
DLSS is pretty exciting though.
that part's exciting. The ray
The ray
tracing
tracing, not so much.
the ray tracing on a piece of hardware that's as powerful as a PS4. Okay, guys,
Uh-huh.
I guess.
Mhm.
And also the amount of games that actually do ray tracing well is like two.
It'll be all Nintendo first party games, but anything other than that on that system is going to
Yes, and
have
then
trash ray tracing.
ray tracing in general already, like the games I can count that do it well is like Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy did it pretty well.
That's good. I haven't played that one yet. Um, I don't know. It doesn't like help that it will literally cut your frame rate in half.
Yes. Yeah.
So the only game I like played with it where I was just like, this is a meaningful, awesome upgrade was honestly Cyberpunk. So, hey, well, that's cool. Moving forward on this lovely list, Microsoft is planning to release an updated Series X and S next year, despite saying multiple times that no, we're not doing a mid-gen refresh this time.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, according to leaked documents from the FTC, the upgraded X, Xbox Series X console is codenamed Brooklyn and is digital only. Cool, so I'm not buying one. That alone, just nope, nope, nope. I understand why it's appealing on a Series S, but on your bigger, higher end model, fuck that.
Yep.
Brooklyn is shaped as a cylinder. It boasts 12. This is why I think this plan has definitely not true. Like, this has changed since. Because remember, all of these are from like 2020, 2021. This is something
Mhm.
everyone has to remember about these emails and leaks.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
it boasts 12 teraflops of performance, but that's something the current one has. 16 gigs of RAM, that's what the current has, and 2 terabytes of storage, and it's digital only. And it reduces the power supply by 15%, and in standby mode 20%, and it comes in 100% recyclable packaging. Which my response to this is like, okay, so I feel like this is going to end up being like a mid. I don't think this is actually a replacement then for the Series X, where the way the One X was for the Xbox One. I think that it is like the equivalent of Sony's digital only PS4. It's like, here, it's $400, it burns less power, it doesn't have a disc tray, more storage.
Mhm.
That's what I think this is. If it leaks, and boy howdy is it fucking ugly. Holy shit, I'm gonna get this thing up on screen, hold on. Yeah, check
It's like
that
a
thing out.
cylinder, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, look at
Yeah.
that. It's on the screen for everyone who wants to see this fucking nightmare. Um, yeah, so. So fucking ugly.
Yeah. No
Holy
thanks.
shit. Nah, like it looks like a fucking smart speaker. Um, yeah, so if these performance claims are true, it's not gonna be that much faster than the current one. So yeah, this just feels like a like mid-market like refresh. And then the other one is a Series S, which codenamed Elwood, which will have 10 gigabytes of RAM, and they're planning to reveal them around Summer Games Fest, with Elwood coming out in August, Brooklyn coming out in October, and they'll be the same cost as the current consoles.
Weird
Um,
choice.
the reason that the current, and then on top of that, it's going to have a new controller codenamed Sabile, which features accelerometers and gyro support. This is a terrible idea. Um, and coming Q4 of 2024. So, yeah. Um, this seems fucking stupid, especially when you look at you sit down and you like compare it with the like current Xbox Series X and then the new Series X, the Brooklyn. Like it literally seems like the only advantage of it is it burns less power and is a cylinder. If you like that for some reason.
Yeah, It seems like a weird choice.
That means you can't use your disc-based 360, Xbox One, etc. games either. So that's fucking a dumb as hell idea if I've ever seen one. You know, like that is one of that thing's best features. It
Mm-hmm.
is like 100% one of the best features of that system. It is such a good, strong, powerful idea that hey, we support your library going forward, and I get that they have like all their digital purchases on there, but like those can go away. This is yeah, I don't like this. Um, Especially when you sit down and like side by side, it's like this literally just looks like they're ripping out the disk drive and charging you the same price. Um, but that's also on the assumption that this has not changed since, of course. You know,
Yep.
I do like the idea that they're launching the Series S refresh in August to give it a moment of shine before the other one launches in holiday season.
Mm.
Like, just impatient people are gonna buy both. I guess that's the idea. Okay, well, anyway, next up is this one. This one's neat. I actually really like this one. Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion are getting remastered.
That's cool.
I heard about
Uh,
this with my coworker the other day. I was like, oh,
yeah. So they had this like merger sheet. I'm gonna pull it up for everyone. Um, they had this merger sheet, and this merger sheet after the Bethesda buyout has like a target date for like all these games, right? This is it. And you look at it and you're like, okay, most of these have come out and come out like relative to where they're supposed to. You know, like or delayed by a year because COVID happened during the middle of the merger. So it's like okay, Starfield came out 2 years later, but everything else, Project Beaky came out 2 years later. So literally, you just take everything here and you push it 2 years. It'll probably be right. So that means next year we're probably getting Indiana Jones, Oblivion, and all this other stuff. And then it means the year after that we're probably getting Project Kestrel, Doom Year Zero, Project Platinum, and then 2026 implies Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 3 remastered and Dishonored 3 and a Ghostwire sequel. So, I don't know.
I'm
Anyone?
surprised Ghostwire is getting a sequel.
Well, you know these companies plan.
I didn't think it did that well.
Um, um, sell great in Japan. That's for sure. I love how
That makes sense.
I love how like I looked up the sales for it and it gives me the Japanese numbers first. Um, um, that's fucking hilarious. Okay, wow, it's really hard to get units sold on this game for some reason. That's not a good sign. Okay, well, it has topped 4 million players, but it's also
Uh,
been on Game Pass.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
fucking Mao, baby. Love that stat. Tell you right now, monthly active users, it's what's going to kill single player games, everyone. I want you to know that. You heard it here first. That is an active thing they measure. I have been to Xbox like conferences and press events where they talk about Mao a whole bunch. I'm telling you right now, you want to see it, or if it doesn't kill single player games, they're gonna be padded as fuck. Oh wait,
Yeah,
Starfield.
yeah. I don't
Uh,
understand like why single player games have a monthly active user metric. That makes no
because
sense to me.
you're more if you keep playing, you're more likely to buy DLC or cosmetics and other bullshit.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
The problem for me is like I only give a shit about cosmetics if I really like them, or like in multiplayer games if it's something I can earn that's really hard. You know,
Right.
like the reason that I really like my current mythic transmog in WoW is because that shit took 2 fucking months of me
Yep.
doing plus 18s. You
Yep.
know, I've gotten DMs from people though, and it feeds my ego, and I love it. Being like that is one sick as hell set of armor. So, yeah, so none of this is a surprise. It's cool though. I'd be really down to play an Oblivion remaster. I love Oblivion. It's in my opinion, it's the best game Bethesda's ever made. So,
I don't know if I finished Oblivion. I don't think I did.
well, what do you think is the best? Well, okay, fair enough. Do
Well,
you think
I
is
think like I got to the point where you had to like get a cursed item and then give it to somebody to cleanse it or something, which is at like the very end of the game. I just never did it.
what do you think your favorite Bethesda game is?
New Vegas, which isn't even a Bethesda game.
I was gonna say I mean a Bethesda game, not an
You know what?
Obsidian game.
I really liked. I really like Skyrim. It's
Oh,
unfortunate that like Skyrim has just like been dragged through the mud and you can play it on everything and anything. Um, and so like it's really diluted like what that game did at the time.
if Skyrim if Skyrim like just got like one remaster on PS4 and Xbox One, maybe that Switch port,
Hmm.
and didn't get like ported over and over and over and over to everything,
Yep.
I'm sure it would have a far better reputation.
Yeah, you can
I,
play it on your Echo. If
I
you have
think
an
that game,
Amazon Echo, you can play it on that.
I think that game is really cool for its time. Um, Even at the time though, I remember playing it and being like, this is kind of just more Oblivion. Like it's not even
Hmm.
particularly that much bigger,
Hmm.
but I liked it. I did like it a lot. And I was just like, okay, this is the last time they can get away with doing this kind of shit.
Yep.
And boy, howdy, I was wrong. they 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 keep getting away with it. Uh, so, Xbox is planning its next system to come out in 2028. It's going to be a next-gen hybrid platform, ARM 64 or x64 Zen 6. Balance of big and little CPU cores, co-designed with AMD or licensed in AMD IP such as Navi 5. Uh, Balance and desire for flexible, programmable mid-level silicon versus high-performance silicon for targeted workloads. Forward compatibility, graphics tech plans, next gen ray tracing, micro rendering optimizations, dynamic global illumination, uh, machine learning based super resolution, extensible model for fast iteration innovation, lacking a thin OS for less than $99 or a consumer handheld device. So it won't have an operating system for less than
Hmm.
$100, like for less,
Hmm.
and it'll shrink the price by $100. Um, that's a choice, I guess. Um, uh, Nothing a surprise here.
No. Nope.
So, yep, like that's 8 years. It was like seven between the Xbox One and the Series platform. So, yep. Okay, so Phil Spencer really wants to buy Nintendo.
It would be a career maker.
That is what he said.
Yep.
Um, which it would be like
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like that. You want to talk about like legacy moves?
That would be the ultimate legacy move. Like
that
right
would be
there.
the hey, this is the dude that got Nintendo at Microsoft.
Hmm.
I mean, they're neighbors.
They are neighbors. They're actually right down the road from each other in America. Um,
No, like literally, Nintendo is right here.
yeah. Yeah,
And
I
then
know.
Microsoft is right across the street.
I am aware. They're literally right by each other at
Mm-hmm.
up in Redmond.
Right by my friend's place in Redmond. Yeah. It's like,
Uh,
what the shit?
so there's an email, and this was before the Bethesda deal went through, and Spencer talked enthusiastically about buying it, be a career move. Uh, Before Bethesda bought ZeniMax, Spencer reveals they had interest in Valve, which fuck, glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, same.
That like,
Oh, ruin it.
oh god, they're a private company, aren't they?
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think so, yeah.
I have a feeling Gabe Newell would strongly tell them to go fuck themselves.
I am sure he did.
Yeah. You would.
Um, and then Warner Brothers, which I heard about that deal surfacing, and I'm surprised it didn't happen. Um, you know, but this is what the email says. It was an email to Nintendo's marketing department. Um, Takeshi, I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming. Today, gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance. I've had numerous conversations with the LT of Nintendo about tighter collaboration. I'm sorry, this is someone in-house at Microsoft. I apologize. And I feel like if any U.S. company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably the best positioned. The unfortunate, or fortunate for Nintendo, situation is that Nintendo is sitting on a big pile of cash. They have a BOD that until recently has not pushed for further increase in market growth for stock appreciation. I say until recently, as our former Microsoft BOD member Value Act has been heavily acquiring shares of Nintendo, and I've kept in touch with Mason Morfitt as he's been acquiring. It's likely he'll be pushing for from more from Nintendo stock, which create opportunities for us without the catalyst, I don't see an angle to a near-term mutual agreeable merger of Nintendo and Microsoft. I don't think without a hostile, and I don't think a hostile action would be a good move. So we're playing the long game. But our BOD has seen the full write-up on Nintendo and Valve, and they're supportive on either opportunity if arises as I. Confidently, we will have the two fairly active merger and acquisition discussed in gaming right now. Warner Brothers Interactive and ZeniMax. I took ZeniMax to the BOD last week, and prior to the BOD discussion, I asked Amy and Satya if they're fine doing all three of these, if the deals make sense. I won't say Warner Brothers or Zenny is Nintendo, but both are for sale and getting and gettable by us if things align. Biggest obstacle is Warner Brothers is IP ownership. Wouldn't own any of the IP, which hurts long-term flexibility, and the only obstacles on Zenny is value expectations of the founders. But I think it's likely one of or both of these happen, which will help us continue to double down on our gaming relevance. To give a sense of scale, ZeniMax is about the size of our current first-party studio organization, so that'd be doubling our content assets. Downside is it's more core, less broad, not mobile, and more North America and European. I love this discussion value or looking at opportunities. Here are some points again. Nintendo would be a career moment, and I honestly believe a good move for both companies. Just taking along for Nintendo to see that their future exists off of their own hardware. A long time ago. Smiley face. And then I'm gonna go over the next part that involves TikTok. Um, Man, you see the back end conversations with these companies, they really are gross.
Mm-hmm.
They really are super gross. Um, you know. So yeah, and then they also briefly talk about buying TikTok. So I mean they're right. Like could you imagine like Nintendo like being owned by Microsoft?
Right. Well, and like just the Nintendo quality games have always been like super high, but can you imagine them on something that can push 4K?
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be amazing. That'd be
Yeah, those
incredible.
games would be so pretty.
Like think back to the GameCube days when they were like on par with the other two
Mm-hmm.
consoles. How good those
Mm-hmm.
games looked for the time. The
Yep.
the the problem is Microsoft would have to mind their own fucking business.
Yes.
Is basically what would happen. And I love the fact that they had like a someone who is just like, oh yeah, their stockholders really aren't pushing for further market growth or stock appreciation. But we had a former Microsoft board of directors member who is now on his own, but buying fuck tons of shares in Nintendo and
Mm-hmm.
pushing for more of this. Like, how gross is that?
Yep.
Uh, Super gross. Super, super gross. But I get it. I understand it. Um, so yeah, yeah, like having Nintendo on, like this would be the like ultimate me just sweating the news if I got this story because on the one hand I'm like, oh god, they can fuck this up, especially because I've seen the inside of Microsoft. On the other side, man, if they just had the sense to leave them the fuck alone,
Right.
um, just leave them alone.
I think that would
And
be like the big thing, right? Is if they could leave Nintendo alone to let Nintendo do Nintendo things on a Microsoft console,
yep,
I think it'd be perfect.
yeah, but that I actually really hope this doesn't fucking happen. I really hope
Yes.
it doesn't happen.
Well, more competition is good, right? Like,
Yeah, like so people were talking about in a later article that we'll get to. Phil Spencer says, "Well, if we don't increase our market shares and everything by 2028, I believe it was, we're not going to be in the game industry anymore." And I'm like, "Please don't do that. Please don't
mm-hmm,
leave. I know we
mm-hmm,
dug on you a lot, but please don't leave." you know. Um, no other company has the kind of cash to throw around to make a console and hang with Sony. Please,
right.
please don't leave. So, all right. New Xbox hardware. They basically showed a whole list of hardware that's coming out. They're working on a one-handed controller. They're working on a mobile-style backbone controller. They already released some of these, the premium controller, the headset. And they're working on a gaming mouse and gaming keyboard. So
That's cool, I guess. I'm like, what are they gonna do that's different from anybody else when it comes to keyboards and
I don't
mice?
know. That'll be a really comfortable keyboard, I guess.
It'll be Xbox themed.
That could be cool.
I guess. I mean,
Um, so they did show that they are including a direct-to-cloud wireless controller. So very similar to like the Sony thing that just came out, where it connects to cloud and it's a
oh,
straight. Yeah. Yep. Um.
I'm really curious to see how that is gonna do, and then to see if
If Microsoft just
or
no,
like
never
see how
mind, never mind, never mind, never
yeah
mind.
yeah, and see what Microsoft's response to that is.
Um. So Phil Spencer had an email of his thoughts of the PS5 reveal, and I
Oh
want
yeah.
to I want to add this. I agreed with him at the time. I absolutely agreed with him at the time. I thought the PS5 reveal was weak as fuck. And I
Mm-hmm.
also, to this day, I think that console is fucking ugly. It is
Mm-hmm.
unbelievably huge and ugly. Um, I don't know. If it wouldn't make it overheat, I'd put a fucking tarp over it. Jesus. So, anyway, that's what the email said. Uh, Even as I type this, I know I shouldn't, but I can't help myself. We all lived through 7 years of starting off a generation with a price and performance and messaging disadvantage of PS4 to Xbox One. I have to admit, this morning when I woke up, knowing the PS5 revealed was today, stress levels were higher than normal. Now, after 12 hours after soaking in their unveiling, taking apart their specs, and looking at their community response, I just want to say I am very proud of our team. We have a better product than Sony does, not just on hardware, but on equally important on the software platform and services on top of the hardware. We have ingredients of a winning plan. I felt the feedback from the board of directors discussion on being too confident, and maybe this would reinforce that perception. I get that the need to be humbly confident. Today was a good day for us. We haven't won anything, and I know we have hard discussions about pricing, P&L investment, etc. This mail isn't trying to scoop any of that. Those discussions really matter, but we can take confidence in our product truth here, and I do believe any conversation needs to start with believing in that. This was a good day for Xbox. Thanks for indulging me, Phil. I completely agree. I
Yeah,
totally agree.
I don't think he's wrong, right? Like I just think that he like that I think that aged like milk, but I
Like,
don't think he's wrong to have that sentiment.
like at the time, the Xbox was more powerful. It had this Game Pass thing. The first year of titles were just straight up better. There were more of
Hmm.
them. Like it was a and to this day, like Xbox Online and the Xbox hardware are still better as a
Yep.
whole. Like, and it's still like the Game Pass is significantly better than Plus, and just the problem is they just don't. They have, well, this year they have two big exclusive games. Like, and the fact that they like just bungled 2022 so bad, like they fumbled that so
Yes.
bad,
Yep.
is why they're in the states they're in. If 2022 like Starfield came out as intended and it was even the quality it is now, and maybe one other game like a Hi-Fi Rush, these conversations would be very fucking different.
Hmm.
But that's not what happened. So, the and now there's a big sales lead. It's like 1.5 to 1. Like, they're yeah. I don't. I totally get why he was confident at the time. I was confident at the time. Everyone on this fucking podcast was confident at the fucking time. You know, like Aaron and I, like the real funny thing is I actually ended up buying a PlayStation first from you, Ninja. Thank you.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I couldn't get a fucking Xbox. Like
Yep.
I couldn't find one. So yeah. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like between the like failure to deliver and like their inability to recover from it's called Xbox 360, like th- there was a lot of room to capitalize on like their console. They just failed to do it.
Well, like imagine a world where like Halo didn't take a full year worth of updates to get where it needed to be.
Yep.
'Cause that's a great game now. I can fully recommend Halo Infinite to anyone now. Halo Infinite launched in that state. Starfield came out like 10 months earlier.
Hmm.
And like this would be a very different conversation.
Yep.
Like we'd be like, fuck, these leaks are interesting. Man, Xbox is doing really great though. Instead of, man, it's a good thing that Starfield did really, really well. Otherwise,
Hmm.
they'd be fucked right now.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, next up though is in 2022, May of 2022, there was an email of them just scrambling to fill holes. Um, Basically, it was a senior executive exchange between Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond, how they're scrambling to find games to fill the hole. Because originally Starfield, Redfall, and Stalker were all set to come out next year, or last year. Which, if Stalker and Starfield came out last year, that would have been a big win for them. But all were delayed.
Hmm.
This is a quote. This is really a disaster situation for us, given all we've invested in content across our studios and the Game Pass Content Fund. We need to learn from this and build a plan going forward. Spencer said in the email chain before a call to action for them, the team to ink third-party deals to circumvent the gap. And there's a bunch of interesting tidbits that we're about to go over as I pull up the emails. And Jesus fucking Christ, IGN, you really had to print this for ants, didn't you? Jesus, Lord Almighty. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can save it and get it pulled up on stream. This is this is horrible. Why would you do this?
It's so tiny.
It is right? Yeah, you're having that on the webpage too.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. Well, fuck. I'm just gonna I'm gonna read the first one. For Q2, there are very few impactful day and dates. The best option would be to attempt to go for a high-performing short window titles, plus up the holiday period. These would include Lego Star Wars Day and Date, Techland Day and Date, all across PC and console. Additionally, for a Paradox / City Skylines 2 closed beta release, We have the day and date signed already. In addition, aiming to launch our Riot partnership during this window to help us. As for Q3, the highest cost profitability would be Gotham Knights and Assassin's Creed Rift. Based on our assessment, acquisition of other day and date crown jewels would not be good for returns on investment. My question is, do we take this and combine it with our work in Tim and Jarrett? Hold on, I apologize. Um, um, and our taking point on integrating. And then it goes over another option, and this is the one from Phil Spencer. Good options, let's work with this. Another option would be to hit. God damn it. Why did you make this so tiny, IGN? Another option with high wow factor around Elden Ring is try and go and get all the Dark Souls games and make a push with From and the Elder Scrolls upsell. God, that would have been wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, all on Game Pass. Here, and then there's the day and date email we just went through. And then they have a full list of games and their analysis of them is what we'll call it.
Yep.
Which
Oh, is this where they say that Baldur's Gate 3 is the second run, like a second running RPG?
so second run Stadia game, but I will say that so there was some clarification that went around about that.
Yeah,
Um,
I think originally it was going to be a Stadia
yeah, well,
game.
yes, it was gonna be the reason they say it's second run is they wouldn't have a day and date. That's the meaning
Got
of it.
it.
So we'd be
Got it.
getting. But man, fucking when I first read that headline,
Yeah, I was like, wow.
whoa, fuck. Okay, so
Made the wrong call on that one.
and then they just some breakdowns of these. Baldur's Gate second run Stadia PC RPG expected cost $5 million range. Return to Monkey Island, huge PC nostalgia play with new title from legendary designer, expected $5 million range. Bandai Namco Dragon Ball: The Breakers, expected partner S 20 million hours. Wild card, no resources to dev for PC for day and date. They had another one here that was pretty interesting. Uh, Gotham Knights expected partner asks 50 million. PC Tech Readiness, another partnership. Change of guard at Discovery makes this sell in motion new. Already told us PC wouldn't land day and date. Suicide Squad, $150 million. Already a partnership with another competitor. Most likely can't offer it with us. Jedi Survivor
Holy
part.
shit.
What?
The Jedi Survivor expected ask. Holy shit.
300 million. Crown Jewel won't do it. I mean, yeah, that's a fucking how well that game sell. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it'll probably come to Game Pass like later, like
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, Mortal Kombat. That's another crazy one. 250 million. Crown Jewel won't do it, and Change of Guard at Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. GTA 5. Partner asks 12 to 15 million. Will they do PC in time? Will they do longer than 3 to 4 month terms? Have to move something that I can't read because they fucking printed this for ants.
Have to move really fast.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. Again, agree all hands on deck. I'm gonna do a dig this time to see if there are good possibilities beyond this list that will something well in Xbox Game Pass. But looking at this biggest question, we can get EA or Ubisoft to a day and date. We actually have a shot at that now. Both of them we didn't have a year ago. But to fund we are doing, we have to drive either parts of our business hard as you say. Nothing is free. Love the brainstorming work here as a team. And then they go over a quick third-party roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
More planning. Um, okay, with the news that Starfield is going to miss the holiday, not broadly communicated, let's Jamie manage that. Still not a ton of clarity on the launch date of Redfall and Stalker 2 development is impacted by the war in Ukraine. So that we are in a huge hole with our games lineup for our platform, marketing different God, this is so tiny. And our Game Pass content. We'll leap talking a bit. We'll leap talking. Keep talking. Sorry, about a AAA quarter in service, and it also go through a gap among 16 months between big exclusive launches on our platform. Halo Infinite being our last on December 9th. This is a real disaster situation for all of us. We've invested in content across our studios and Game Pass Content Fund. We really need to learn from this and be better moving forward. In terms of learning much better overall portfolio planning on our games with real honesty in dates, doing this from summer 2021, we had an amazing lineup of games including Flight Sim, Psychonauts 2, Age of Empires 4, Forza Horizon 5, and Halo. There were good third-party games in that time frame as well, like Back for Blood. And they just go on to say that like we need to get to work and we really fucked up content planning here.
They're not wrong.
No, no, they're not at all. They're 100% right,
Mm-hmm.
like guaranteed right. Um, yeah, no, like we'd be in a very different world had their original plans happen, but you
Yes,
know
right.
they didn't, and then they didn't get a whole lot of big third parties on board until this upcoming year. Like, there's a lot of good Game Pass shit coming in the first quarter of this next year and late this year. But Red Dead Redemption 2 might be a next gen update. So there's that.
That would be cool, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see. According to the FTC, Microsoft is blamed for the leaks. It was not responsible for uploading Microsoft plans for its games and consoles to the court website. The director of public affairs at the FTC in a post. Oh, that's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah, yeah. Microsoft leaked their documents, not the FTC, according to the few articles I've read.
Yeah. Which, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. Like, there's a lot of shit at that company that is unsecure and could be easily targeted. Is all I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, there'll be one of the. Let's see. There's no doubt that Baldur's Gate 3 will be one of the games you see appearing in the end of your accolades for 2023, but it'll be out. So they really underestimated the game as a whole. When they were looking to fill their 2022 lineup, under notes it says second run Stadia game. And then Michael Dowse, the director of Larian, did said they were not the only one who doubted this game, and a lot of people carried that same energy. Yeah. Um, so yeah. And we now know why Yakuza Like a Dragon was a timed exclusive on Xbox. Emails between Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Damon Baker from the game's 4-month timed exclusive period was, from Microsoft point of view, an added bonus. The breakdown is convoluted, but in short, when Like a Dragon was released on PS4 exclusively in Japan, Microsoft was barred from releasing an Xbox version in Japan until 1 year exclusive deal ended. Due to the terms of Microsoft's parity clause with Sega, Sony was blocked from releasing a PS5 version in Japan until Microsoft did the same, with a PS5 version not ready. Microsoft's added bonus of 4 months timed exclusive in the West.
Makes sense.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I think Microsoft and Sega are getting real buddy buddy.
Yes.
You can see all the Persona cross marketing and all the
Yeah.
Yakuza cross marketing. I hope it works out for him, man. I really do. I'm loving not having to buy those games day one.
Yeah. Like I mean, Sega's on. Sega's putting these things on day and date, then like they're getting a lot of money from it, right? So I I wonder if it's like a response to when Sega wasn't doing well and they want to make sure to never be in that position again.
Yeah, and free money.
Yeah, and I mean, like they bought Atlas, they bought Rovio, so like obviously they're doing well now, and I want to see that continue. I can't imagine a world without my Atlas RPGs or the new Sonic game that I won't play because Sonic games are weird now. But like there's still a
Sonic
core.
games are weird now.
There's still a core like gaming pillar.
No, fair enough. Yeah, no, well, Sega's super important.
Yes,
Yeah. So like, and they have a bunch of really good games and things of that nature.
they do.
All right. I could totally see that as their next acquisition. Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
110%.
I would be a little disappointed to see Atlas games locked, but that's fine. I'll deal with it.
You own a PC and an Xbox, my guy.
That's why I'll deal with it.
Yeah, and they come to PC and run on like toasters.
They do.
So uh hey, guess what? The Xbox Series S is more popular than expected. Is the last piece of news we got out of this.
Weird.
The Xbox Series S is 75% of Xbox Series ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So if you own in the current gen of Xbox, there's a 75% chance you own, you know, the Series S. Fuck, I knew that thing was a great idea. I
Yeah. Right. Like
really, yeah,
you,
like,
like it seems like a slam dunk to me. And why you would doubt that it would be is kind of weird. And like I guess it's easy to say that in hindsight, but like you release a cheaper console that doesn't have the same features but is still good enough to do well, like why would that not do well? Especially when most people are moving to digital anyway.
um, yeah. So fair enough. All right, well, yeah, that like, like M has a Series S. You have a Series S.
Yep.
Anthony has a Series S. I have a Series S in the living room, even though I have a Series X right there. So there you go.
Actually, my Series S is right next to me
Yeah,
because I
there you
took
go.
it with me when I went to my parents' place this
There you
last
go.
weekend,
It's a great console.
and I haven't set it back up yet.
It's a great console. I
There's a
highly
reason for
recommend it
that.
to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I do
For
too.
sure.
Yeah,
We have a
absolutely.
comment in the Discord.
Hmm. I was
Somebody
wondering when you were
named.
gonna catch this.
Yeah, I did
What
catch.
the
I did.
fuck?
Tony Baloney calling the show in general chat. Voice, bring me in. This show is boring so far. Bring in some excitement. Hey Ridley, come on in.
Oh, he also DM'd
He
me and
also
said
called
I'm
me.
gonna call you, pick up.
Uh, okay, hold on.
Who the fuck is this
Who
guy?
is this?
And
Do we
I
want to bring
have
him in?
some words.
Do we want to bring him
That's a risk that you need to be willing to take, but
in?
Yeah, because I'm about to
I'll
show some
pass.
fucking hands up in this bitch.
I'll pass.
Hold on. I need to engage. I need to engage with chaos.
Oh
Hold
God,
on.
no, Paige, Paige, no.
Yeah, I feel like this is a bad play.
This is a bold strategy. Let's see how it works out for him, Cotton. I think he left the Discord server. I don't see him.
He probably did.
Yep. Bummer. Bummer. That could have been real funny. Oh well. Oh man. Who knows that guy? Who was that guy?
I
Probably
don't.
from Kick.
Probably. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. All right. Where did I leave off? Okay, yeah. So that's all the major leaks from the Xbox case. The To be fair, these are to be taken with a bit of like grain of salt to them because they definitely are not these are from years ago, like 1 to 3 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. So plans
Guarantee those plans
change.
have changed.
If you've ever been inside a major corporation like that, literally shit changes like every month. Microsoft in particular, like literally will have stuff like this is the plan, then a month later, this is the new plan. This is the plan. 2 months later, never mind. You know, like we were
Yep.
supposed to get like this big giant project that I got like briefed on and all this other shit, and like 6 months later, hadn't heard anything about it. So,
That sounds right.
yeah. Um. So Microsoft emailed employees after this leak happened, um, saying, I know this is disappointing, even if many of the documents are well over a year old and our plans have evolved. We've seen conversation around old emails and documents. It's hard to see our team's hard work shared in this way because so much has changed. There's so much to be excited about right now and in the future. We will share real plans when we are ready. Um, so yeah. In closing, I appreciate all the work that you pour into Team Xbox to surprise and delight our players. In the days and weeks ahead, let's stay focused on what we can control, continuing the amazing success of Starfield, the upcoming launch of the incredible and accessible Forza Motorsport, and continuing to build games, services, and devices that millions of players can enjoy. Yeah, that's Phil Spencer handling it like an adult, like always.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Good job. Um. Oh wait, hold on.
Hmm?
Aw, damn! It was someone responding to this new person in the Discord. Not like a. I saw the little icon that you got contact. I was like, oh, maybe he is still here. Chaos. Uh, Lordy. Um. Oh, they're only accepting direct messages from friends. Yeah, I'm not adding this person to my friends list. Fuck that. Okay, cool. All right, well, that's pretty much all the leaks and whatnot. Any overall thoughts, everybody?
I think a lot of people are seeing a side of corporations that like they knew existed but didn't know like how it played out or what it like really looked like behind the scenes. So for a lot of people, this stuff is really interesting.
Yes, I well, because like a lot of people, they work in retail or they work on like the
Mm-hmm.
low ends of the business or like, like, because I got acquainted with it at United Healthcare, but because I was mainly focused on like sales, I only saw the sales end of the spectrum.
Right. Right.
Like so, like I was mainly focused on, hey, I need to sell this, and then I need to tell the higher ups in sales how we can better sell shit. Not
Yep.
like because when I was in Microsoft, I definitely got more of an insight into the broader spectrum, and then like I could totally people seeing this being like, my God,
Mm-hmm.
versus I see
Mm.
this, we all see this, and we're like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. People. Most people don't get to see business strategy from that level.
It's a real
So
shame.
that.
I think it's fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's genuinely really fascinating, especially because like in this case they actually do not seem that disconnected from the people using their product.
No, they don't. They seem to be like really on top of it. It's just a couple of misplays led to them like just not leading the market.
It's like a couple of misplays combined with some really shitty luck, unfortunately.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it's all just, yeah. Like that's basically the long and short of it. It's in a different world where stuff came out on time.
Mm-hmm.
Whoo, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But you know, hopefully they can turn it around and continue competition going and all that good stuff.
Yep.
Speaking of competition, I think this is something that'll help competition. Is the Microsoft Activision buyout looks to set the deal close to looks to set approve the deal. The UK finally approved it. The UK
Yeah.
CMA's final report. They said it is good to go.
Yep.
So today, September 2nd, when this or 22nd, when this article came out, the CMA said the new deal addresses its previous concerns and opens the door to being cleared. Microsoft has an October 18th deadline to deliver the buyout, which now looks inevitable. The CMA said it's had limited residual concerns that certain provisions in the sale of Activision's cloud streaming rights to Ubisoft could be circumvented, terminated, or not enforced in response. Microsoft offered remedies to ensure the terms of sale of Activision right to Ubisoft are enforceable by the CMA. The CMA now has provision concluded this additional protection should be resolve those concerns. Sarah Cardell, CEO of the CMA, criticized Microsoft for not offering this new deal sooner. The CMA's position has been consistent through this merger and can only go ahead if competition, innovation, and choice in cloud gaming was preserved. Every time I hear it.
I know, right?
Every
Like
time I hear
of all the things to hone in on.
like there's so much about this deal that you could criticize, right?
Yes.
Like there's so much about this deal that you could look at and criticize and go, look, these are concerns that we have about consumers, and
Yep.
that's the one.
And that's the one. That's the one you pick.
You know, not the fact that this could potentially in 10 years make the biggest game in the world exclusive to Microsoft's platform. Not you have the number one MMO on the market, possibly exclusive to Microsoft platforms. Not
Mm-hmm.
the fact that like this like basically doubles the size of Xbox Game Studios. No. Not any
Cloud
of
gaming.
those. Cloud gaming. Cloud
Cloud
gaming, a
gaming.
thing that like only works in the best of conditions.
Yes.
You know, like okay. Um Microsoft President Brad Smith commented, "We are encouraged by the positive development in the CMA's review process. We presented solutions that we believe fully address the CMA's remaining concerns related to the cloud streaming deadline, and we look forward to approving it closer to October 18th. The next step for the CMA is gather third-party feedback, after which CMA will reach a final decision. It'll help us. Yeah, so there you go. Yeah, and then Phil Spencer says, I want to make sure people know that there's work to actually move games to Game Pass. So for those who think the deal's going to close, then everything's available, that's not true. And it hasn't been true in other acquisitions that we've gone. There's work for us to do, just mechanical work for us to go do, so it'll take us time. Definitely we get time to get games in the portfolio. I mean, that's true, but it took like 5 months for all the Bethesda games to be on that service?
Yeah. I mean, like, I think the bigger news, not even news, but like the bigger takeaway is that it'll happen eventually, right? Like, who cares how long it takes? I'm
Yeah.
sure that like with Riot, right? They have a thing with Riot where you unlock a bunch of champions and skins and things like that if you have Game Pass and you connect it to your Riot account. I'm sure we're gonna see something similar for Warcraft.
Oh, dude, you
Yeah.
know that like WoW and Overwatch are gonna have that shit in
Yes.
spades.
Yeah.
Like Blizzard already has all those deals with Prime Gaming. Like, oh, if you link your Game Pass account, you're gonna get like this fucking mount
Get
or
like
something.
mounts or weapon skins or whatever. You're gonna see
Yeah,
all sorts of that shit.
yeah. Which is gonna be interesting because they also have Final Fantasy finally coming to Xbox too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be interesting. Wonder if they'll do a cross promotion deal with that.
I bet.
I think it'd be
I bet
really
they
great
will.
to get a lot of Xbox players playing 14.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a real good move for that game. They understand that's why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and that means M can finally play FF14 with everybody.
Yeah. Well, technically, I can already play Final Fantasy 14 because it's on PS4.
Yeah, but you know that shit's gonna get shit canned after Dawn Trail, right? Like no doubt.
Yeah, that's why I'm waiting until what is it, March of next year?
Yeah, they said early next year is when the Xbox port is happening. So
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Mm-hmm.
wait until
and it's
then.
free to play until the end of the Stormblood expansion.
Stormblood.
So
Yeah. So you get a shit ton of content for absolutely no cost.
yep,
Jesus
you get a
fuck.
bunch of reading for no cost.
Yes. It's
Um,
good reading. Most of it is good reading.
a little
Is it
slow
though?
reading, but it is
Is
good
It is
it?
reading.
slow. It is slow,
It
but
is
it is good
very
reading.
the pacing is very bad. But like
Yes.
I was actually there was a TikTok that I read around is like it's like, well, what your favorite game is, what book you're reading, and they got to FF14. It's like, well, if you're playing FF14, you're not reading any books because you're too busy playing FF14. And then I sent it to Stella. My response is, the secret is Final Fantasy 14 is the book.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
if you like visual novels, you're gonna love Final Fantasy 14.
yep. This is a really elaborate 3D visual novel that happens to have
Yes, yeah.
this
Has some
other,
gameplay.
yeah. I don't know. I was playing it last night. I was having a good time, but
Yeah, I still really enjoy it. I don't know that I'm gonna go back to like playing it seriously or if I'll go back to WoW, but like it's still fun. I
that's
still really like
a
Final Fantasy 14.
raid team really needs good people, and wow, we need people who are really good, and I mean at all roles.
I'm sure.
Uh, you play Shadow Priest, right?
I did, yeah.
That's
Wouldn't say currently. Wouldn't say currently play
I,
Shadow
I,
Priest, but I did.
you did play Shadow Priest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Shadow Priest is like one of the
They're
best
pretty
DPS
good right
right
now.
now. Yeah, they're really
Yeah.
good. They're really good, and I'm just saying, you have a spot on a raid team waiting for you. Yeah,
I'll continue to consider it.
yeah. And also, we only have one other clothy in the whole raid,
Oh Jesus.
so there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, all right. I'm done singing my siren song for now. Um, yeah, but like if this deal goes through by the end of next year, it's like Call of Duty day and date, Diablo day and date, like
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
this other shit day and date. Like, yeah, it's gonna happen for sure. All right, so the last piece of news that I actually forgot to throw in the docket because I saw it happen after I made the docket is Final Fantasy 6.5 is happening.
Yeah.
October 3rd is the date. They were not kidding when they said early October.
Yep.
Um, have you ever read Final Fantasy patch notes? It's
Yes.
almost the same thing.
Yes.
New MSQ, new side quest with Tataru and Hildebrandt, new Beast Tribe, new dungeon, new trial, new Unreal trial, new Alliance raid, duty support, which is the worst thing that has ever come to MMOs ever. Um, New variant and criterion dungeon. Okay, Ninja, can you fucking explain this to me? I was so fucking annoyed with this yesterday. Why does no one run the criterion dungeon?
Because outside of like story stuff, there's no reason to.
Like, cause I was like I wanted to see the criterion dungeon, right? And I was
Mhm.
like, all right,
Mhm.
cool, I'm gonna queue for this, and it's like 30-minute wait time.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot
What?
easier. Like the when the new one launches, it'll be really easy to queue up for like 2 weeks, and then people will have seen everything in the dungeon, and that'll be it.
Lame.
Yeah.
They should put some
They're kind
real.
of they're like conceptually they're cool, right? Because you play through it, and depending on what choices you make in the dungeon, it alters the dungeon and like the bosses you fight and the things that you can do and pick up. Um, but like you play through it 4 or 5 times, and you've seen everything.
Yes, it's very much not a Mythic Plus equivalent, which is the
Yeah, which
bummer,
is what they
because
like were trying to sell it as, and it just didn't pan out that way.
it's like no Mythic Plus. Like the dungeon doesn't change much,
Mhm. Mhm.
but like it gets progressively harder, and you have to work on things in different ways and shit. New Island Sanctuary, Fall Guys collaboration with the Gold Saucer, balance adjustments, PvP adjustments, and then miscellaneous eye level restriction for duty roulette. Thank fucking god. Thank god. I am so fucking tired of running Crystal Tower. I am so
I bet.
fucking
I
tired
bet.
of fucking Crystal Tower. No,
Mhm.
so when we were streaming WoW, after we got done, I decided to stream some FF14, and I was like, I'm gonna do my roulettes for the day, and I'm like, you can just audibly hear me, like it happens. I'm like, God fucking damn it, Crystal, and I just left. I just left
Yep.
the party. I was just like, no, fuck
Nope.
Crystal Tower. You know, place sucks. So like, oh my god. Honestly, what they should do for a lower level content like that is they should just scale down your whole kit instead of removing abilities.
I agree.
It's so fucking annoying they don't do
I agree.
that.
Some classes like you're running that shit, and like some classes don't get their AoE ability until like level 50 or whatever. So you're running something early, and you can't even AoE with everybody. You're sitting there single targeting, looking like an idiot, while everybody else is there mowing stuff down.
Well, you want to talk about real annoying when you get like a level 23 dungeon. Like I was helping Stephanie with roulettes on my samurai last night, and I was in a level 23 dungeon, and I had slash
Yep.
again,
Yep.
and then slash a different variety, and that was
Yep.
it. No AOE, no nothing, and I'm just like, the argument I was given for that is like, well, like new players would feel bad, and I'm just like, no,
Why would they
no.
feel bad? Yeah, like
It's like you just can explain to them, yeah, dude, I'm really like level, fucking 90, and I
whatever. Yeah.
and I have my full kit. Like you'll
Hmm.
get this. In fact, if anything, that would have been more motivation for me to play. Like if I like when I
Hmm.
was leveling my black mage, if I saw like a level 90 black mage in my party and he's just popping off with like paradox and shit, I would have been like, "Oh, that's what you get at level 90?"
Yeah, that shit looks sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb. So fucking annoying. But yeah, that's a new patch. The story stuff looks great in it though. Story stuff looks amazing. I feel as though that the FF community right now is kind of in a lull, so they needed this.
Hmm.
Um, I know that after the patch was revealed, I see a bunch of people on my friends list online playing Final Fantasy today. So checks out.
Yeah.
Checks out. All right, well. Anyway, that's all the news. Um, so next up is what we've been playing.
All I've
So
played this week is Lies of P.
is it good? Is it that
It's
good? Dark
it's
Souls.
really good. It's really good. It's um I don't know. I'm playing dexterity build. And so like blocking is not the way to play. So you're dodging or parrying, and the dodging is not as good as like Dark Souls dodging.
Mhm.
But parrying is not as good as like Sekiro
Hallway staff stuff
parrying.
like
So
this.
it's kind of frustrating, and that like you need to figure out this game's specific timing. It doesn't feel as natural as like Dark Souls has gotten it down to be. If you
Mhm.
play a strength build, I'm told blocking is the way to go. Uh, but the game has been a lot of fun. I've only come across one boss where I've gotten like really frustrated, and it took me a few hours to like learn all the boss's mechanics and moves, and being able to just like parry everything and get through the fight.
Hmm.
But the game is a ton of fun. There's a lot of customization when it comes to your weapons. You get like weapon. Have you played the demo, Bronson?
No.
So you get a weapon handle and you get a weapon blade, and then you can mix and match all of the handles and all of the blades except for on the boss specific weapons.
Mhm.
So like your handle determines your move set, your blade determines your type of damage, and one of your like special abilities. And
Hmm.
by being able to mix and match those two things, you can get like different stat scaling. You can get different like types of damage. You can get different like lengths of like your reach. So the customization from like that aspect is really neat. Um, if you like a specific move set, you can put like an acid weapon onto like a dexterity handle or its strength handle or whatever, and it changes the type of damage you deal to specific enemies, and each enemy has a specific weakness when it comes to damage type. So that part is really neat to me, even though I end up keeping I have like one main weapon, and then I'll change the second weapon for bosses depending on what their weakness is.
Okay. All right. That sounds the weakness thing sounds really interesting. I don't think a Dark Souls has really ever done that in the weapons itself. They've done it in
Yeah,
terms of like
I don't,
magic.
I don't think so either.
That's interesting.
And there's like your weapons can do normal damage, fire damage, acid damage, or lightning damage, and like depending on what kind of enemy you're fighting, they can be weak to one of the three elemental types in the game. Um, so it adds like a new layer, I guess, of complexity to boss fights.
Hmm.
Um, and the boss fights are really interesting. So if you ever see somebody, if you hop into like a Lies of P stream, your chances are you're going to see them in a boss fight. Um, and they are the thing that irks me about the boss fights is that a lot of boss fights are 2 health bars. So like you kill the
Oh,
boss and
that's the
you see a
worst.
cinematic, and then you have to
That shit
kill the
is the
boss again
worst.
or fight another boss, and it's really annoying. But I haven't been able to put down the game yet. We went to an engagement party yesterday, and I was like, I could be home right now playing Lies of P.
Okay.
It's a fun game.
All right. Cool. All right. Did a little more WoW. Did a little more Starfield. Deleted Starfield.
I
Uh,
also uninstalled Starfield.
I loaded up Cyberpunk though. That new update, man, that looks pretty. 2.0 update, it's out and it's fucking gorgeous.
Are you playing
Uh,
that on Game Pass?
no, I own that.
Oh.
Like I own 2077, and the update's
Mhm.
free.
Mhm.
Phantom Liberty isn't free, but the 2.0 update is free.
Got it. Got it.
So it looks prettier. It's definitely more of a performance hog. I'm getting like 55 to 65 FPS at 1440p with DLSS. Granted, I have
Jeez.
everything turned fucking to the max, except for
Yeah.
that new ray tracing overdrive shit. My computer just can't hang. But man, it looks gorgeous. The car combat, that's fun as fuck. They had a GTA style cop system. That's
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fucking dope. Uh, that's mainly what I've gotten to mess around with. I booted up the game and I was in the middle of the story, so I kept going with it, and I was not expecting to see a a first person sex scene.
All
Uh,
right.
yep, like Johnny Silverhand just hooking up with this chick after a concert.
Mhm.
I
Lord,
mean,
not
I
what I was
mean.
expecting on my return to Cyberpunk. So,
Welcome to the future.
Yeah.
yep, yep, just hooking up all the time. All right, so there's that. Oh, I played some Baldur's Gate 3 this week with my girlfriend. Like she wanted to play some on Wednesday, so we went through and we were continuing our campaign. Um, that campaign is kind of fucking hilarious if what happens at the Grove for you happens for us, because all the leadership, Haslin, Zerval, like all those people, they're
Mhm.
fucking dead.
Mhm.
So we know we need to go to Moonrise Towers, but we have no idea how to get there. So we looked it up and we're figuring out a way. But like, it's super funny. It's like we need to get to this place. Well, the game has no way to tell us where to go now because
Right. Right.
everyone's dead. So, yeah, that's been solid so far. It's been a lot of fun. That game is super fun, and it's super fun to hear the differences in my campaign versus her campaign versus our together
Oh yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
Uh,
The amount of shit that is like in that game and the amount of things that can change is crazy.
yes, it's awesome. It's super good. I hate the combat still, but otherwise it's great. And even the combat can be funny sometimes. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't like playing that combat by myself, but playing it co-op and just the shared misery is just hilarious sometimes. Just like Fucking Karlach missing like 4 swings in a row on something that's 3 levels below her.
Oh God, yeah, right.
Just like fucking lord, I hate this fucking
Rough.
game. Uh, Shadowheart's the worst though, dear fucking god.
Yeah, I mostly use Shadowheart as like a team buffer.
Um, but she can do such good damage when it actually hits.
She can, yeah, and like you
Ugh.
can give her. I think she's got the um. If you go to the Githyanki camp, you can get a really good mace for her, and it just crushes shit. It's so good.
Like I literally had her cast a spell that did 33 damage the other day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I was doing that quest where you get Karlach and you help her kill those dudes. And there was that one really strong paladin dude in the back, and I was like, "Hey, let's try this. 32 damage. She one shot the
Yep.
motherfucker." And I was like,
Yep.
"Fear the wrath of God, I guess." Um, so that let's see. And then I played I played some FF14 with Stella. She's trying to get caught up before Dawn Trail's out.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
She's
yeah,
got
like
time.
yeah, she's got time, but it was still just really funny. Like, all right, she'll hit a dungeon or a trial, and I'll be able to help her with it. No,
Nope.
no,
No.
Oh,
nope.
I think like the
rough.
best and worst part of Final Fantasy 14 is that you can feel like you did stuff and not cast a single spell.
See, like this is so this week Yahtzee put out a video. He does that like series with 0 punctuation, extra punctuation,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of just like commentary on the games industry. Like Bioshock has the best beginning of any game ever, and
Mm-hmm.
then the one they
Yes.
put out was AAA games need to step up their traversal. But
Yes.
they do. But one thing he brought up is games that are the size of Starfield or Baldur's Gate sacrifice, or Final Fantasy 14 even, sacrifice the core gameplay loop for something else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like in Final Fantasy's case, it sacrifices a lot of its core gameplay loop to benefit the story and the like fucking around in Limsa and like small side content. Um, and I kind of looked at like my like taste in games and my favorite games of like most years that come out, and I realized that like I really fucking care about the core gameplay loop. If your core gameplay loop is not fun to me, I will fucking be so annoyed by your game. Unless the thing you are highlighting is just absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Baldur's Gate 3, it is the choice and the narrative and the seeing weird shit happen is so good that it overrides like the part of my brain being like, I wish playing this were a fun thing. You know? Like I literally like pulled up my like game of the year articles I've written, and like I look at my number one game of most years, and it's like what was like my number one game of like last year I want to say was like God of War Ragnarok, you know. Very good core gameplay loop,
Yeah.
combat,
Yeah.
puzzle, etc. DMC 5 in 2019, very good core gameplay loop. Just like it's like even Persona has a really great core gameplay loop when you look
Mm-hmm.
at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause like all the story interaction stuff you're doing feeds into the combat. When then some of that can help you want to go do the story stuff more, and it creates a loop that's really
Yep.
strong. Um, but like even as good as the Final Fantasy 14 story is, it does feel like something they are forcing me to do to get to the core gameplay loop. And or you could argue the core gameplay loop is just the story, which either or.
I think for me it's the opposite. I think if the story is really engaging, I don't care what the gameplay is like. I will trudge through it to see the story.
See, I'm not that way. I've never been that way. It's why I hate Western RPGs because
Mm.
Western RPGs often their core gameplay loop sucks really bad.
Their stories aren't that great either.
They can be. You look at Mass Effect.
Yeah,
And
there's some of them that are really good, right? Like Mass Effect was really good. New Vegas is like fucking amazing. But like for the
Cyberpunk.
most part, the stories are just like,
They sacrifice both for freedom, like the amount of
yes,
freedom you
yeah,
have in those games.
yeah.
But like, yeah, because like I look at like WoW and like how fucking much, especially in Dragonflame too. They just like it is dopamine and gameplay loop that is 90% of what it is.
Mhm, mhm,
You know, and unless your story, like I said, is absolutely spectacular, with great pacing, I'm not as willing to put up with it if you don't have
yep.
great. You know, it's um, which in like 14's case, 14, I know a lot of its community really loves its story to death. And I love parts of it to death. Like like Shadowbring, like every expansion has lulls for sure though, and I really wish that they could tighten up some of those lulls.
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
not sure if you finished FF16.
No,
No, how far did
I
you
have to
get?
go back to it. I'm like right before the Garuda fight, like the
Oh, you
Garuda
are
fight.
super early.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just something else came out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna check that out, and then something else came out, and that cycle kind of
Um,
continued.
well, I finished FF16, and it also has kind of the FF14 problem of like you set up a really cool premise, and then you build up to this big payoff, and then that payoff happens, and then you have like 2 hours of chores.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate those 2 hours of chores in the both of those games, and it fucking sucks, and I hate it,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels bad. Um, it's so yeah, like that's something I kind of discovered about myself that like like you ever watch a video and you just like realize something about your own taste in games or your own taste
Yeah,
in shit,
yeah.
like
Like, oh
uh,
shit, that applies to me.
yeah, 100%, like
Uh,
yeah, like um, and like I said, there are exceptions to the rule. Like I think Mass Effect's core gameplay loop is like solid, but I'm mainly there for how unbelievably good the writing is. Yeah. But yeah, so all right, well, you play anything?
I did actually.
Okay,
I played the update to Dreamlight Valley that came out about a week and a half ago.
sounds
nice.
cool.
So we have two new villagers, Beauty and Beast, which when you get them, you're going on a nostalgia trip. Like straight up nostalgia trip. And I was just crying. I was like, my childhood. Right here. Ugh. And then I started playing God of War.
Which one?
Like like the 2018 God of
2018.
War.
Okay, yeah, that game's
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's a good game.
Because I got that for my brother at PAX, and I thought I was gonna have to take my PS4 in because Final Fantasy 15 was stuck in there from when I moved,
Mm-hmm.
but it
Oh,
randomly popped out one day, and I was just like, "Oh, I don't have to take you in." Oh, thank you.
Fair.
So I started doing that, and then I started my New Game Plus run of Ghost of Tsushima.
nice.
Yeah,
Great game.
That's
That's
another
great
game
game.
I need to play.
that's another great game with a fucking sick as fuck gameplay loop
Oh yeah,
that only gets better the more you do it because you get more shit.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Um, yeah. All right. Cool. Well, glad you're finally trying God of War 2018. It's pretty good. I
It's
like it a lot.
pretty. It's very pretty.
It's a very good looking game, especially for the time. It was the thing is it was actually the second most impressive game the year it came out for me. Red Dead Redemption 2 was just fucking
Ah,
insane.
yeah.
So
I
good.
trust.
That's another one you need to try. That game's story is so fucking good.
It's really
Yeah,
good.
I need to start playing some Red Dead.
You want to talk about like games that have a sort of okay gameplay loop, but uh the story is fucking incredible. So you're less
Mm-hmm.
mad about it. Man, that's one of them.
Red Dead.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I know that we were originally planning a payday thing, but Aaron is out of town and Em is busy, so I guess we're not fucking doing that anymore. So,
Not this week.
Well, you can't even play the game right now anyway, so
why not? What's up?
their servers are fucked up.
Oh, okay. Well,
Oh,
perfect. They did our job for us.
thanks, guys.
Thanks for giving us
Appreciate
an
it.
excuse. So yeah, we'll probably be doing a Tuesday stream still, as far as I know. I don't know what that'll probably be more WoW and Final Fantasy, for being honest. Other than that, yeah, that's about it. So, all right, well, guys, thank you very much. We love y'all. I hope you tune in next week, and yeah, we'll see you on
Mhm.
Tuesday.
See you.